Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is, for you, it's Wednesday, June the 12th, 2024. For us, it's Tuesday night, June 11th, 2024. Same year, believe it or not. Keep that in mind moving forward with any today's, yesterday's, or tomorrow's. We'll try to keep it simple for you. Got a fantastic show for you tonight. I know this because Auburn's picked up 3 commitments since we last had a recruiting show, including a 5-star offensive tackle or a soon-to-be 5-star offensive tackle. We're going to talk about all those commitments. We're going to talk about visitors coming up, and answer the questions from the corner. Here to do it all with me is Mr. Allen Head and Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, fellas?
How about you?
How about you, by George? Got a lot to talk about tonight, fellas. This is a crazy time of the year. You've got visitors leaving, visitors coming in. The guys who left are committing. You've got camp going on, elite camp going on. You've got private workouts. You've got unofficial visits. A lot going on. Crazy time in June, but we're trying to track it all at Auburn Live on 3. If you haven't already, go give us a try. Still got the 2 months for $1 deal if you use the promo code AU1. AU1. Capital A, capital U1. Don't tell anybody else. It's a YouTube special. 2 months for $1. Get you way past Big Cat by now. Big Cat's going to be huge. So is this weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit. First, let's, we've got a new sponsor. Got to have a new sponsor, and it's probably the most important sponsor when you're in this business. If you're a recruiting fan, if you're an Auburn fan, and you don't want to know how to make the biggest impact at Auburn, and we talk about it every week, NIL and retaining the roster, the transfer portal, keeping guys from going in, bringing guys in, the recruits is all very big. So if you want to make a real difference for your student athletes at Auburn University, join the On to Victory Collective. Fantastic people do a fantastic job. They're a huge reason Auburn has had the recruiting success that they've had. For as little as $17 a month, you can support Auburn athletics. You can enjoy awesome perks. They have monthly giveaways. They have VIP events, behind-the-scenes content, which is fantastic. And, of course, cash back on your favorite brands. Some coupons in there. Some coupons. Plus, you'll get exclusive savings on all your On to Victory gear. Got some sweet gear, by the way. So head on over to ontovictory.co. That's not .com, but .co, C-O. And join today to support the athletes and get these amazing benefits. We're going to have a link in the description down below. So go check out ontovictory.co. That's ontovictory.co. $17 a month, folks. If you want to make a big difference, man, low as $17 a month, absolutely will. They do a lot of good for Auburn, and they make our jobs a lot easier. I'm talking about because it levels the playing field. It makes getting these top dogs very possible when you've got a coaching staff like Hugh Freeze and these guys, and the relationships that they build, and then you have an NIL collective like Onto Victory. It makes our jobs a lot easier to cover because there's a lot more success in recruiting when it comes to Auburn and Onto Victory. So ontovictory.co, ontovictory.co. Give them a shot. Tell them we sent you. All right, folks, since our last recruiting show, so in the last 7 days, we've seen Auburn's class grow by 3.
Yes.
There's not an emoji for that. One of these, 2, 3. Oh, yeah.
There it is.
I got it. I don't know if y'all are looking still.
I was.
Okay.
You did sound like the Count from Sesame Street there for a minute.
1, 2, 3. First, it started with Donovan Starr, who, let me tell you something. Donovan Starr was very high on Auburn's board after a really good spring evaluation. Auburn saw this guy in the spring, and he shot up the board. I'm talking about very high. And Auburn got him in for a visit. Before his visit, he was like, yeah, I'm looking at Auburn, I'm curious. And he comes into Auburn blown away. And what was it, 4 days later? I don't even know if it was 4 days.
No.
He commits. He came in. Was he
the day of?
He was on the way home from his
that's right.
visit.
He couldn't wait. That's right.
Yeah.
He came in on Tuesday and left on Thursday, committed on his way home.
Yep.
Donovan Starr commits big-time corner pickup for Auburn. The next day, 24 hours later, Broderick Shull, the soon-to-be five-star offensive tackle from Oklahoma, who has been presumed – Auburn has been the presumed leader for a while with him. He goes about 5 days after his official visit, he commits. And then Bryce Diaz, by the way, it's not Dees. It's Diaz.
Okay.
Not like Diaz without the Z with the S, so it's Diaz. So Bryce comes in with Blake Woodby, both of these guys from St. Francis Academy in Maryland and Baltimore. They come in Saturday. Bryce performs Sunday in a private workout. Then he performs, and it was all that really Auburn needed to see in that private workout. He was like, "Nah, dude, let's go." So the regular camp then starts. The elite camp starts. He takes every rep. He does every drill, and Auburn was just blown away with this kid's character, his drive, and offered him on Monday before he and Blake Woodby left. And then 24 hours later on Tuesday, Bryce Diaz commits to Auburn. Fellas, and listen, Bryce could play several positions. If you read up on the stories, Durkin just loves the guy. He just wants him. I've been told this guy is a day one special team starter.
Yep.
He's 6'2" 220-ish, and he is pretty. You put him at the front of the bus so he can get off one of the first few spots. He's pretty.
Yeah.
Really likes his potential, his ceiling. But when you're looking at these three guys, we'll start with you, A-Head. Broderick Shull, Donovan Starr, Bryce Diaz. Thoughts?
Donovan Starr, I would comp him to Noah Igbenogany. Got that kind of coverage skill, that kind of speed, much more of a natural defensive football player at this point than Noah was. At this point of his high school career, Noah was more of obviously he was a wide receiver that transitioned, but love his hips, obviously love his speed. You're talking about a guy that's sub 10.5 in the 100-meter dash, and that's before he even steps foot into a college strength and conditioning program. He's only going to continue to improve. And a guy that knows how to stick his toe in the ground and be able to do something with the ball, how to break things up, how to play it in phase. So really like him. He's probably a good mix. And I think Cole said this before of, what you've got currently committed with Dante Core and Devin Williams. He's probably about in between those, just as fast as Devin, a little bit bigger though. So more like Dante in that regard, but a value pick, somebody that Wes McGriff had extremely high on the board, probably your number 2 corner overall, if I had to guess. Behind the in-state 5-star, but just a huge pickup. Obviously, I think we've talked Brody Shull, probably going back for the last 2 months about how important he is to this class and continuing to add layered depth to that offensive line room. Smart kid, physically talented. I think the last guy that we had that probably compares to him, a more athletic Austin Troxell, probably, I would think. That's the way I would put that. Much more athletic Austin Troxell, a guy that could play on the left-hand side, a guy that could play on the right side. I think it really depends on who else you add to this class and maybe, how some other guys that you already presently have committed develop, but a guy that can play a multitude of different positions for you. And then obviously Bryce Diaz, I put on his tape, really like this kid. He is an athlete. I think he's probably going to find a home at linebacker if I had to guess, because if he's already at 6'2", 220, looks a little bit on the frame or on the hoof like a Jamie Sherwood did, except they're not going to play him at that deep safety. Maybe they try to, but he's got the size to play inside the box. He's very physical. You see him coming off the edge in some of his clips. You see him playing corner in some of his clips. You see him playing safety, box linebacker. He lines up all over the place. He even plays some offense. I think he's got some clips of him playing running back and wide receiver. So all over the field for St. Francis, which is a powerhouse in the DMV, a place that produces a lot of talent, and some place that I think that having DJ Durkin on staff has been able to, get us a toehold in there. Because if you can add him and Blake Woodby, those are 2 valued pickups outside of your normal recruiting footprint.
Hey, Cole, you did a piece after Bryce committed. I love how you ranked the commitments, rank the current class. Where did you have these 3 in your ranking, and kind of what do you see Auburn getting in them?
Yeah, well, Bryce Diaz, when we saw Blake Woodby, Jeffrey, you and I saw him in the complex, and he was with Bryce. We didn't know who Bryce was at the time.
I actually like I did.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Hey,
oh
what's
yeah, hey
up?
big dog, how you doing?
What's up, big dog? Anyway, we both saw
Dab him
Bryce,
up.
and we did like a double take. Like, whoa, that guy's big. You know, he's almost built. I mean, he's not as big, but he's almost built like an Amaris Williams.
Yeah.
And that's the type of guy you're looking at here. But he's more of a space player than Amaris is. Obviously, Amaris, if he moves anywhere, it'd be inside to 5 technique edge. But he's interesting, man. I'm trying to figure him out. I like a lot of his tape. He's explosive. That's the main thing. I really just want to talk numbers with these guys.
Mhm.
So back to Donovan Starr, 10.5 100 meter is what I
Yes.
was told. He hit 23 miles per hour that he put on Twitter the other day.
You get a speeding ticket in my neighborhood.
That's ridiculous, guys. 23
It is.
is ridiculous.
Yes.
If you're looking for a kick returner, this is probably your guy. We were talking about that the other night.
Yeah.
And then numbers on Brody Scholl. I think he had, what, a 4.7 shuttle. And if I'm not mistaken, Alan, that was going to be the best shuttle time for an offensive lineman in this year's NFL Combine.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I
Just
mean, he
think
is an athlete and a half. Cole, you're right.
He's in high school, and he would have just put up the best shuttle in the NFL Combine, or one of them at least. I don't want to say the best because I don't remember the numbers, but it was up there. It's like one of the best. So, and then you go to Bryce Diaz. He runs a 4.5. He did it at a camp in, I think, in New Jersey or something. And then he comes down and does it at Auburn. He's got a 76 wingspan. He's got 4.2 shuttle. I mean, this guy, there's a lot. They just got 3 guys that translate perfectly to the NFL with their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for measurements too. Now, Donovan Starr, not the biggest guy, but he's not small either. And he's a track star. So, I mean, look, you just got guys that translate. And that's the name of the game, really.
We'll see. We'll see how. I'm curious to see how they progress their senior seasons and if those rankings change. I think, is Donovan a 4-star?
He is, but he's
Okay,
fringe.
yes,
I think he's top 350 or something of that nature, but he's right there at the 350 mark. But every one of those, like Cole said, regardless of where they are in the star ranking, recruit to traits. It never lets you down as far as that's concerned. If you're picking guys with NFL traits, that's always going to transcend to the next level.
All right, let's head on over to the corner and see what those fellas are up to.
Knew that was coming.
Let's see what our fellas over on the corner, the Auburn Live message board. Oh, Eric 132. If Usman Chroma commits, does that then shut the door on Alvin Henderson, or would the staff take both?
I think this question's tailor-made for Cole. Well, never mind. As he had to step out. For those that aren't seeing the YouTube version of this,
I think that's the ideal class, right?
I agree. I think Alvin Henderson paired with either Usman Chroma, Shakai Mills Knight, one of those two, call it a day, because those are both guys that can play sooner rather than later. We talked about what Auburn's depth situation is this year. Well, then you lose Jarquez Hunter. And so you're really in a position where you need to bring in some guys that can play right away, specifically if you have any kind of an injury to Damari or Jeremiah Cobb. So it's extremely important to find guys that can fit into your system, that you value, and that can play early because of the depth concerns that you're going to have moving into next year.
Yeah, I think, Eric, that's your ideal class. Cole, what do you think?
Definitely does not shut the door for Alvin. In fact, this is the situation where we talked about this a little before the show. Let's just say that Auburn is the favorite for Usman Chroma, and they get him, right? What does Alvin Henderson then do? Because they want 2 backs. Do they got to find a spot? I think he makes a move. Because we've talked about it. We don't think, it's over with Alvin Henderson by any means. I think he would try to preserve his spot. So it's almost like, 2 birds with 1 stone here. You get Usman Chroma, then you can almost go, all right, well, when's Alvin flipping? And it may not be that easy, but it certainly could be that easy for sure.
I agree. And then even if you land those 2, I think they would probably still recruit like a DeJuan Morris because of his versatility and the ability to use him in different positions. He's more of like just kind of an offensive weapon type target that can also get you some reps in the backfield as well. So I don't think that precludes you from going in on somebody else that both you and I are very high on goal.
Absolutely.
Running back recruitment is going to get very interesting. We'll come back to. I was going to show actually what Chad Simmons wrote today, and is that we don't have to put that up. I'll just read it. Chad Simmons on Tuesday, the buzz on Usman Chroma. Auburn has quietly emerged as the school to watch for after getting him on campus for an official visit in May. Florida State can be as strong of a contender as it wants. So if the Seminoles push, they will be one to watch. The same can be said about Georgia. Auburn has the most buzz around it, which I would argue that Usman Chroma and Alvin Henderson are atop the board. Those are your wants.
Yeah.
Let's see what old Balboni wants. What percentage would y'all give us landing one of Malachi Goodman or Andrew Babalola? Just one of them.
40%.
45.
Got 35 and 45.
I say
Okay.
45. 45.
And I'm probably high on Babalola, and I'm probably low on Goodman.
Let's real quick though on these two. Here's the bottom line that I've gotten on these two here lately. It's not over and Auburn's not out. Now, is Auburn going to get one or both or none of these guys? I don't know the answer on that. But Auburn supposedly is not out.
Sure.
And they have taken their official visits to the perceived leaders. Goodman to Penn State, Babalola to Stanford. Now that's big news to me. And that's why I say 45%. I am getting really close to saying Auburn's going to get one of these guys. I'm leaning more towards Babalola right now. But, man, I'm telling you, don't sleep on Goodman either because that Penn State visit happened. The Georgia visit happened. I don't think Georgia's in this. I think it's between Penn State and Auburn. That's where I'm at on it as of today. That can change, obviously. But when you have these official visits and they go by and that team doesn't seem to make a move with people we talk to and sources, that's big.
Huge.
Yep. No, I agree, Cole. And that's why I'm probably splitting the difference between you and Jeffrey. One's at 35%, the other one's at 45%. I'm going to split the difference at 40 and just waiting to see. Has Babalola taken his Michigan visit yet? Has that transpired? Because that's the only other school. That's the only other school I'm looking at with him.
I'll say that's the 21st for him.
Okay.
I'll check.
That's a big weekend for Michigan.
It is.
I think that's when Nate Marshall's going too.
I believe you're right. So that's it, to me, that's another one to pay attention to. I don't think I still believe, and I trust Steve Wiltfong in both of your reporting that Stanford is still the bigger competition. But to me, that's worth paying attention to, and that may affect some of my confidence contingent on what Babalola has to say coming out of that visit.
So Babalola has Michigan this weekend.
Oh, okay.
And then he has Oklahoma the 21st if he takes those. And I think he does take them, but, everybody I've talked to on this, they think it's Auburn and Stanford. And that, that tracks with what Steve Wiltfong has reported as well.
Yep.
Let's see. MP Bagwell, of the guys that have taken an official visit so far, who would be the biggest get for this class? Who is one guy you guys expect the staff to make the biggest push for this weekend? Let's throw out some nominees. I would say Caleb Cunningham's a nominee. I would say Nate Marshall's a nominee.
Andrew Babalola.
Yep.
Antonio Coleman.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Derek Smith. Usman Chroma.
Usman. Yeah, I was about to say he's a big one.
But one guy there. Malachi Goodman.
Because
who would be the biggest get? Who would be the biggest get?
So far that's visited, it's got to be Cunningham, right? Like he's the 5-star.
Yeah, I think so.
And the only reason is, and I would usually say Babalola here. I mean, 5-star offensive tackle. Come on.
All day, every day, right?
That much. But in this particular situation, Auburn's looking pretty good on the offensive line. As got several guys. You just got Scholl. So receiver? What's the plan there? What's gonna happen? So that makes Cunningham that more important.
I'm with you. And then of the ones who haven't that are visiting this weekend, I don't think there's any question it's Juju Lewis, right? Like
Juju Lewis,
the one that you're gonna throw the
Well,
kitchen sink at.
I know it.
Eric Winters.
Eric
Well,
Winters.
that's true. True, Cole. That's hard, right?
I mean, you give the edge to Juju, but I mean, probably on the defensive side of the ball, there's nobody more important than Eric Winters right now because he's about to have a decision.
Well, that would be the easy way to do it. On offense, it's Juju. On defense, it's Eric Winters.
Right.
So good big weekend coming up. Good stuff there. MP Bagwell. All right, let's go to Auburn on 3.
How about that?
We got a plant here.
I'm telling you.
Malik Autry and J. Caleb Falk both have done interviews that doesn't make them sound too committed. Autry, Falk, and Tavares Dice. Which one is the most likely to sign with someone other than Auburn?
Ooh. I'll go Autry.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll go Dice.
Okay.
I would go Falk. And now whoever Auburn on 3 is like, well, that doesn't answer my question then.
Well, no, it answers his question. It just makes it muddies the waters a little bit here for there's no consensus.
That's hilarious.
But it's good podcasting, right?
Well, Malik Autry went to USC. He's going to go to Florida if he hasn't been already. USC thought he was going to commit, and behind the scenes, I was chuckling at that. Now watch him commit to USC, but
they got him out in front of their skis on that one for sure. I still think Florida is the biggest competition for Malik Autry. Yeah. No question.
I do have a question for y'all. Is it interesting to you? And I haven't been doing this as long as like you, Jeffrey, but been following it for a long time. And it always seemed like Auburn was on the end of, well, they got a chance to flip him. He's saying all the right things instead of being the one that's got him committed. Does that make sense?
Sure.
It's reversed a little bit. It's weird being on that side of it, covering it that way, because you're like, well, I don't really know. I haven't covered it this way yet. Like he's wanted by all these teams and he says all the right things, but then you see him at Auburn, and you're like, well, that guy's surely he's not going anywhere.
This is the first year we've seen this, Cole, since probably mid-Gus. Like Harsin didn't get guys committed, and he was trying to flip, and we were doing he might commit, he might flip, and then last year it was all about flipping with Hugh and Freeze in his first year, and now that they've had a full year under their belt, they're getting these guys in early, they're getting them committed, and now our narrative or our headlines have changed to can Auburn keep him? This is the first year that seriously since maybe 2019.
We probably, and I don't give Gus enough credit for some of the recruiting wins that he had and some of the classes he put together. I was going to say Chiswick. Like those, obviously Chiswick's first year here, they were scrambling and they were getting guys and flipping guys and everything else. But those next 3 years, I mean, even the year that Chiz got fired, they had a top 10 class rolling in with like 3 wins at one point.
Yeah.
Because of the level of recruiting that was going on with that staff. So that's the last time I can remember it being like this, where guys are consistently trying to be flipped out of your class and being valued elsewhere. That's how good that staff was, and that's how much I think of Hugh Freeze.
Did Auburn lose any commitments last year that they didn't want to keep? Did anybody flip from Auburn to someone else that they
Jalewis Salmon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jalewis Salmon flipped to South Carolina. That's the one. Now, obviously, they still valued KJ Lacey, and then the kid that signed with Florida, I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head.
LJ McCray.
Those were the 2 big ones that they really, really wanted down the stretch. They didn't get.
You meant Kamarian Franklin, right?
Yeah, not KJ.
You said KJ Lacey.
Oh, did I? I meant to say KJ Bolden.
Oh, KJ Bolden.
Oh, KJ Bolden. Okay.
Yeah. I meant to say KJ Bolden, not KJ Lacey. My bad.
There you go. I mean, I forgot
mixing
about
classes. Yeah.
Good stuff. Auburn on 3. Auburn on 3. I always said he has the best questions.
Why? So who said Dice?
I did.
Why do you think Dice exactly?
Some of the intel you gave me about 2 weeks ago that there was some concern.
Yeah.
And then him telling us that he probably, or he didn't know if he was going to take his Florida visit or not. That made me feel a lot better about him. But then when he
But
said,
he's
"Yeah, I'm
taking
going
it.
to," he's going to take the Florida visit. I just think Jacayla Falk and Malik Autry will sign with Auburn, and personally, I feel very confident about that.
I do with you, Caleb. Malik's. I feel good on Malik, but he's a little bit of a wild card in my opinion.
Okay, here's the deal with Malik. Just like Auburn on 3 said, they do these interviews. Malik Autry, oh, I love you. You know, it's great. And then where is he the next day? He's back at Auburn.
Yeah.
Jacayla
Right.
Falk, I just cannot see him.
All right. So with Falk, and the reason I picked him, I keep going back in my head to an interview I did with him when he was in 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
This was before Keldrick Falk ever picked Auburn. I mean, I think he was committed to Florida State at the time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So I talked to him, and man, he loved some Alabama.
Did he?
And I keep going back and thinking about that. Like when I see what he says about Alabama, and I see, you know, that he visits there every once in a while, made an OV there. I go, what if? Because I think he loves his brothers at Auburn. I think his mom loves that he's at Auburn, that Keldrick's at Auburn. He could go with his brother. But he has made it clear, I am not committed to Auburn because of Keldrick. I am committed to Auburn because of how they treat me individually. So I guess I have a little concern with that because I know how much he does like Alabama, or he used to anyway. Things change. But that would be why I would pick Falk out of those 3.
And my only pushback on that is, do you guys remember when we were getting down to the waning hours of Florida State versus Auburn for Keldrick, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember his mother does not, I'm not saying she's pushing anybody, but she is a dominant part of that decision-making process for her 2 boys. There is no question. And I think Hugh Freeze understands that, knows that, is going to prioritize her as much as he is going to prioritize J.J. Falk down the stretch to make sure that kid stays in the class. And I think in the end, having a parent that probably is being recruited in that way is going to make a difference for J.J. down the stretch.
Well, we'll see. University of Auburn, a school that a lot of kids commit to and get offers from. Out of our 5 3-stars, list them from most likely to least likely on who can move up to a 4-star. Let me pull up the commitment list so we can be
So it should be
knowledgeable.
Dante Core,
Ryan
Bryce.
G.
Yep.
Ty Buster.
Yep.
Bryce Diaz.
Yep.
Dante Core and Spencer Dolan. There it is.
I'll go a tie between Ty Buster and Bryce Diaz. I think those are the 2 that probably have the opportunity to jump just because of the exposure that they're going to get in the places that they're playing. And I like the measurables on both.
I like Donovan Starr and Ty Buster.
But Donovan's already a 4-star, right?
Well, why is he? Yeah, they're not listening. I guess I can go. Oh, that's not the On3 industry ranking.
No, yeah.
I see now. On3, 24/7, ESPN, and Rivals. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, look under their name.
How about Malik Autry? Oh, okay. Look under their names. Okay, cool. All right, let's go to the bottom. We've got Spencer. I think he's a 3-star throughout.
Yep.
Dante, Bryce, Ty, and Ryan.
I could see Dante Core potentially moving up because he does have such great length.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that NFL translatability. I don't, Ole Miss wants him pretty big.
Sure.
There's a few schools that still want him and wished he hadn't committed to Auburn. So with those things, the other one, I don't think Ty Buster's going to move up because he continues to just fly under the radar for whatever reason.
Sure.
Now Tennessee and Florida State are trying to get him on visits. He told us. So obviously people are starting to find out about him. But if you've ever seen Ryan G in person, and Jeffrey, you've seen him.
I saw him Sunday.
I think they need to retake his measurements. That dude is getting
big.
He's got to be like 6'7". So the frame, he's 6'6" or 6'7", either one.
He's not 6'5".
The frame alone could project him to a 4-star.
Okay.
He's going to have a big senior season too.
I hope he does,
sure.
man. That great kid. Would love to see him have a really big year. I still think you think about powerhouse schools, St. Francis, his dad in Maryland. He's going to get a lot of exposure at that school, Bryce Diaz, and specifically because now people are aware of him, his athletic traits. That's the kind of kid that usually pops when it comes to like a senior, like an eval. Think about Tavion Wallace a couple years back, big time athlete at linebacker. Really kind of had a good
the older Wallace.
Yeah.
Trayvon.
Is it Trey? I thought Tavion was the older one.
I don't know. I can't remember. The one that went to Kentucky, right?
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, we got a mid show ad read because I want to get in HelloFresh, man. Y'all know how much I love HelloFresh, right?
Oh yeah.
Do y'all not know?
I do too.
Man, isn't it great?
It
Hey,
is.
if you don't know what HelloFresh is, HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep in a cooler. It stays fresh. It's fantastic. Skip those trips to the grocery store, man. Count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and more importantly, affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Hey, wake up your taste buds, folks, and get summer ready with balanced, fit, and wholesome recipes chock full of fresh produce. I'm telling you, it's fresh too, and under 650 calories per serving. Hey, if you're heading out for vacation, update your delivery address and enjoy easy HelloFresh meals at your vacation destination. You can have it delivered to the beach while you're avoiding all the sharks down there, and and get you some HelloFresh while you're out. Of course, I want some seafood. Maybe have that seafood. I tell you what, man, I've tried a couple of new dishes here. We loved the Mexican style beef and bean lasagna.
Ooh.
And look, the thing about HelloFresh too, man, is it comes with just easy instructions. It's very easy, man. Had kids. Hey, Brooks loved this. Let me show you. The kids' turkey cucumber roll ups. I've had the creamy Dijon dill chicken. Fantastic stuff.
Oh,
Love
I had that
HelloFresh. Yeah, really? That's
we
good.
we just had that one, Jeffrey. Dill and Dijon mustard, and you make a
Yeah.
sauce out of it. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, Dijon sure is. So get on there, man. Go, and plus, now you're gonna get free appetizers for life, son. Go to hellofresh.com/Auburn Live apps, Auburn Live apps, all lowercase, one word, for free appetizers for life. One appetizer item per box while your subscription is active. That's free appetizers for life at hellofresh.com/Auburn Live apps. Love me some HelloFresh, man. Appreciate them sponsoring the show. Okay, let's continue with Eli Double-Lot. What is the latest on Perlotti? It's a good question, man. I did some digging on him today, Tuesday afternoon, and he is scheduled to come in Wednesday for an official visit. As far as I know, he's the only guy coming in. He's bringing with him a lot of family members. I will say this: he had considered, he set up an official visit for Tennessee this weekend. It's kind of a late scheduling for him, so he didn't know if he wanted to move the Auburn visit to a later date. But as of the taping of the show, as of Tuesday night, he was still expected to visit. He says all the right things in the interviews. He's locked in with Georgia. He was at Bama last weekend, I believe. But, man, from what I was told earlier this week was that it's unlikely that he signs with Georgia. It's unlikely that he stays committed. So Auburn's right up there. Tennessee's in there, obviously. I don't know about Alabama. We talked about this. They brought him in for a visit. Yeah, they've got 4 guys committed. I think the consensus from the guys we talked to, and I think maybe one of you 2 guys alluded to this on the message board, but Alabama, there's a Johnson, Miles Johnson, maybe,
Correct.
who Florida thinks they're going to flip.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we'll be. But I think it's those 3 schools more so than it is sticking with Georgia. So I'm curious to see, does he show up on Wednesday? But I don't think it's detrimental to his recruitment if he doesn't, because if he doesn't, it's just he wants to come at a later date. But B, what all he says when he leaves, and maybe what some of the intel we're hearing behind the scenes when he leaves and how it goes.
Well, I'll tell you what. If there's a position, and at one time we were like,
right on,
who are the linebackers? All right, so Tyler Lockhart came out of nowhere, obviously. JJ Falk, you already have committed. Then you have Duke Johnson, who's going to be there this weekend, Alabama commit. You've got Jaden Perlotti. You've got Elijah Melendez. And you just had the guy from Nebraska.
Oh, Christian Jones.
Christian Jones.
Out of nowhere.
And they all seem somewhat obtainable, too. That's the thing. Like there's an avenue where you could see Auburn getting each one of those guys. Not saying they would, but there's a chance with each one. So it's like, what are they going to do here? I have no idea at this point. It could be any of those four.
No, I mean, and as far as Perlotti is concerned, Jeffrey, your intel makes all the sense in the world. You're talking about a young man that committed so early in the process, and yet he's continued to visit schools and flirt with other schools. And so when we talk about actions being louder than words, his actions are that of somebody who's just kind of got an eye elsewhere. And that happens. I think when kids commit this early, both the schools and the young man sometimes decide to go in a different direction. And I think that could be what's going on here. And I'll be interested to see how it plays out as it pertains to Auburn and the other schools that are involved.
He's got an official visit to Georgia set up for the 21st. So that's in 2 weeks. To be curious to see if anything happens before then, and if he does go on that visit, what he says after that. Let's see. AF Auburn, any possibility that 2026 commitment Denarius Gray, he's a wide receiver, any chance he reclassifies to 2025? Before we get to the second part of that question, is there any chance? Have y'all heard anything?
I haven't.
I have
not. I have not. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I have not. I think that was a rumor on the board. It might be true. I don't know, but I haven't heard anything to validate that.
Yeah, labeling that one as a rumor right now. I haven't been able to get any confirmation on anything like that.
Welders AU, good poster here. Which former Auburn commit is most likely to rejoin the class? Good question here.
Wow.
Like this question a lot.
Yeah.
Which one is most likely, because they're still recruiting? Hollis Davidson. They're still recruiting Kalen Edwards. They're still recruiting the hell out of Antonio Coleman. Which one of those three is most likely to rejoin the class? And I'll tell you this, I had Hollis Davidson. I dropped the shit out of him in the hot board.
Right.
On the hot board after he decommitted, because you just don't see him recommit. But he's come back.
Yep.
He's got Ryan G in his ear.
Yep.
He's got Ben Angamoa in his ear.
Yep.
He's coming back in the fall for an official visit. Might even see him at Big Cat. Kalen Edwards took an official visit last weekend. I think we all think he would probably want back in.
Yes.
Antonio Coleman was here last weekend. We've heard really good things behind the scenes about him. So that's why it's so difficult. Like, who's the most likely? You want to start with who's the least likely? I mean, it's tough to do either way.
Oh, God. I mean, can I say all three? You know what I mean? Like, I think theoretically all three could end up back at Auburn's class. Davidson, it seems like Florida State is really in it with him right now. I think Florida is also in the mix. And then he's supposed to visit Georgia, if I remember correctly, at some point, though they haven't officially offered. Yeah. I don't think. I could be wrong on that, but my understanding is last time I was reading what Rusty's reporting, they haven't offered just yet.
I think they've offered maybe.
Okay.
Because from talking to Hollis, it seemed like that is going to be an official visit, and I don't think they would do that with somebody they weren't serious about.
Sure.
But is he a down the line guy? Is he a take right now? That I don't think so for Georgia.
Well, Ethan Barber shored up his recruitment. He's done. He was actually considered sneaking into Auburn this weekend. That no longer is going to happen. Elias Williams also shut down his recruitment. Auburn was also trying to get him in on a visit. But sure. Hollis Davidson. So with Georgia, with those two dudes, I don't know about Hollis Davidson being a take at Georgia. But let's see what he's got. He's got Florida this weekend. No, he just finished Florida.
Yes.
And he's got Florida State in 2 weeks.
Yep. So I think those are probably the other two schools that you're competing against. Obviously, Florida is in a very – I mean, they're in a really tough spot right now. They're doing probably about as good a job recruiting as you possibly can, but when your coach is perpetually talked about as being on the hot seat, that makes it really difficult. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see, what Florida's early season success is like, and can they capitalize on that to see if they're going to be a real player. But Auburn versus Florida State, for a kid out of Atlanta, I absolutely see Auburn winning that battle 100%. And look, Florida State's a very good recruiting school. Mike Norvell's done a hell of a job down there. They probably have a pretty attractive pitch. Kalen Edwards is probably the most likely, in my opinion, just because of who you're competing against. I think his group is like Louisville and Memphis are the other two that you're really going against. I think Georgia's also in the mix there somewhat, but I don't know if he's a take there or not.
Yeah.
So, and then
I would go Antonio Coleman.
Okay.
Kalen Edwards.
I'm with
Hollis
you.
Davidson.
All right, mine would be Antonio Coleman, then Hollis Davidson, and then Kalen Edwards last. And here's my reasoning on that.
I hear you. I might be with you, Cole.
Yeah,
priority. Yeah,
right, exactly. And when he decommitted from Auburn, I don't feel like there was just a fire drill in the place where like, oh, we got to get him back.
Right.
Would they take him back? I think so, but I don't think there's any rush. So I'm thinking long term here. The guy they're going to push for without, hesitation is Antonio Coleman. They'll never stop recruiting him to the end. And I think Hollis Davidson's close to being in that boat too, which and Hollis, when I talked to him, he wanted to make sure he put on record that I am open, not to just these 4 schools. I'm open to whoever wants to talk to me. He wants to hear out from any school. He's got an open mind when it comes to what school he's going to attend. But at the same time, he was shocked by the way he was treated, like just welcomed back with open arms, like he never decommitted. And I think that's going to speak to him as this goes on. Nothing's going to change there, obviously. So that's why I have him number 2 and Kalen last.
I agree. And the other school that I think was involved at one point with Hollis Davidson was Texas. I know that they got involved at one point, but it seems like Keody Armstrong is starting to lean in that direction. So that would probably take them out of the mix for Hollis Davidson. So it's really going to be an interesting battle down the stretch for him.
I like, and I think another guy to keep an eye on the tight end is Amari Winston, the Texas commit from Georgia.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah. But that was a good question. Good question.
Yeah,
LA Whip. Let's see what all Big Dog Whip wants to know. If you had to choose one to sign, Juju Babalola or Caleb Cunningham, who would it be? I think if you sign Juju, you get Caleb.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's automatic. I just think it helps a lot.
I think it's got to be Juju because you don't have a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And you just took a massive wide receiver class. So what's more important? And I think it's stacking quarterbacks right now.
I got to go Cunningham. I just want to. If I was Auburn, I would just want to secure that.
I don't blame you, man. He's a hell of a player.
He is, and you just want to keep building that room that way.
Stack them.
He's just a big deal. He really is.
Let's see. PH Perry 87 with the Brian Battie injury situation. Do you think they might sign a transfer junior college running back so they have 4 scholarship running backs going into the season? It's a fair question. I think we've haven't shut the door on that, right?
No, I mean it's an ongoing evaluation. Does somebody pop, right?
Right.
I think they probably combed the portal pretty hard at this point for what's available, but can they unearth something in the JUCO ranks like they did this time last year?
Who are the walk-ons? Because do they look at them and go, "We've got a 4th amongst this group"?
Right. Does Cole Gamble jump out to them? Who's the young man from Faith Academy, Cole?
Christian Burnett.
Christian Burnett. So maybe
Justin Jones.
Yes.
Justin Jones. There you go.
Yes.
Can you find a 4th there if you need one?
I think so.
The question is, if you're talking somebody into coming and joining your roster as the 4th guy,
tough.
First of all, with Battie in the mix, even we were looking at that going, all right, if they're trying to up the passing game, who's the guy that gets left out? It's just the reality of the situation. There was going to be a struggle trying to get all 4 running backs involved. That doesn't mean you don't need 4. You definitely need 4. But at this point, would you almost just like say, okay, we got 3 walk-ons who have all proven themselves to be pretty good at some point.
Right.
Let's just roll with that. I don't think they do personally, but they could. I mean, not ruling it out.
No, I think that's the way it's trending, just because it's what's available right now. Like if there was a value add that was in the portal, I think we'd already know about it at this point, right?
Yeah.
Seems like it. Yeah.
Unless there's some kind of academic hurdle that somebody needs to get over before they can visit, a la Coy Moore. I think he was a late enrollee because of academics, where he had to graduate from junior college first before he could enroll. So there could be that kind of a situation, and Auburn's kind of sitting on something they've got in their back pocket.
I think there's one or two things. Either they feel good about the guys that they have, or they've got somebody in their back pocket and they're just waiting.
That's exactly it. It's one of the two, and I don't know which one it is right now. I do know that they were very high on Cole Gamble when they brought him in as a preferred walk-on. Thought they had something there that could materialize into potentially a scholarship at some point. But it goes back to the value of being able to add a player at each position and stacking classes every year. Because if Auburn signs a high school back, you're potentially not in this situation. And I'm not trying to fault anybody, Carnell Williams or Derek Nix or anybody else. It is what it is. It happened. They parted ways with Fat, and they really didn't have a backup plan per se. But I think it shows to the fact that you got to have organization and making sure that you're landing somebody each and every year, whether it's from the portal or whether it's from high school.
Yeah.
Trooper Taylor's towel. Besides Alvin Henderson and Usman Chroma, which running back do you think is most likely to end up in this class? I think it's down to two guys besides those guys.
I agree.
You've got Chicago Mills Knight, who just left a visit.
Yep.
And you've got DeJuan Morris coming in this weekend.
Yes.
Yep. Those are the two.
I think you get two of those four. One of the two, or the first, or two of the two.
I'll add one to that mix just because potentially he's going to be OV in season, and it would be AK Deer. If you could get one of those, two of those five.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have just completely forgot about him. And Cole, I think, broke the news last week that he plans to make an in-season visit. So we'll see where things go with him.
He put out a tweet, said my recruitment's 100% open, and then deleted it pretty quickly. So I, hit him up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm taking one in this season." Oh, okay.
Check bounce. Then they hit that Venmo.
Yeah, no doubt.
Deleted it. War Eagle of 95. Steve Wiltfong's whip around said he's hearing that Cunningham may go to Big Juice weekend instead of Big Cat. What is Big Juice?
I have no idea. Is that something Ole Miss does?
Probably, because Juice is Lane's dog. So my assumption would be that.
What are we hearing? We're hearing he's going to Big Cat. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, that was last. We heard from him. He said he's going. I assume he will be there because it's gonna be a big deal to have him there, and Auburn will try to make that happen. So they kind of talked him into it. We'll see if they can keep that going.
E.H. Perry, 87. How many of last year's signees do you see playing versus redshirting this season?
Okay. Gonna have to go back.
5. High school signees.
I think it's more than that.
Let me pull it up.
High school, which would be 1 out of every 4.
And I don't think go ahead, Cole.
So playing and not redshirting, I think you've got Cam Coleman, obviously.
Yeah, I've written. Yeah, special teams. Yeah, you're right. Keep going.
Amaris Williams.
Yep.
Perry Thompson.
Perry Thompson. That's 3.
Yep.
I think Bryce Kane will play.
Yep.
I don't know if we're counting Laquan Robinson because he's JUCO, but I do think TJ Lindsey will play. Will he burn his red shirt? Maybe on the line there, but I say he will. That would just be my prediction. Caleb Harris.
Hell yes. That's the one I was about to say. I guarantee you he's going to play day one. Now, whether it's predominantly special teams or not, that kid's going to play.
Right. And I think Malcolm Simmons will play too. So that's what, 6,
7 or 8?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. 5 to 8, just to make me sound like I was
probably a linebacker too. One of DJ Barber or DeMarcus Riddick, I think. Will play.
I think they're going to have to, right? I mean, if you look at it right now,
those guys be awesome on special teams.
I think
They're
so.
fast and just not.
Put
Yeah.
What
put DeMarcus Riddick out there. He can fly.
I'd put both of them on my kickoff coverage team. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Nate Dogg, AU, do y'all think we can flip other Georgia or Southern-born USC recruits besides Juju, like Justice Terry, or is that crazy talk? That is crazy talk.
Justice Terry just feels like UGA to me, and
He's
I don't have any intel on what that kid's going to do.
the best shot would be Juju, and then maybe Isaiah Gibson.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
Here's what'll probably happen. Auburn will get in the mix for Justice Terry. Probably get an OV or something from him. And I'm more so just using Justice Terry as an example for that caliber of guy and somebody we haven't heard much from yet.
Yeah.
And then we're hearing it's going to be Georgia. It'll probably be Georgia in the end, but they'll get into it. Because if you think back, I think it was just around this time Auburn was starting to get into it with KJ Bolden. Nobody really believed Auburn was going to be in it.
Right.
Agnew got the guy. Very close. And then same thing with LJ McCray. We weren't really talking about him at this time.
No, except for me and you both thought that Auburn was going to land a big-time defensive lineman down the stretch. I mean, I think that was what both of our intel was, is that we're going to stamp one. I don't know who it's going to be, but we're going to get one of these, four.
We definitely didn't think it was going to be a Morris Williams, but
No,
here we are.
Here we are.
I just don't know where the defensive line. I don't think Auburn's going to take more than 4 to 5. You get Antonio Coleman late. You get even if you get a Nate Marshall. And where does this Walter Mathis guy stand?
I'm interested in that.
Where does Kalen Edwards fall in? You got 4 guys right now that probably have a pretty good shot to fill up 2 holes.
Yeah. And Walter Mathis is really intriguing. I mean, I really like this kid's tape. He can play, man. I mean,
yes, he can.
He can play.
So we'll see, man. Smitty J, fellas. Have y'all's opinions changed on must-have in this class?
No.
No.
I still think it's 2 guys, one on offense, one on defense. It's Alvin Henderson. It's Eric Winters. It hasn't changed for me because those are the 2 that sting if you don't land them in the end, in my opinion. If you don't land Juju, yes, that stings. But was that expected? Like, if you lose a quarterback to USC and Lincoln Riley, are you really looking at that and saying,
who's been
damn,
committed?
man, that's one Auburn should have won? Like, I think any rational fan would look at that and say, okay, I understand that. Auburn losing a kid from Enterprise and Elba, Alabama in their backyard to both of those would be schools outside the state, right? Like, Alabama's not even the chief competition here. It's Georgia or Miami for Winters, and then it's Penn State for Alvin. So losing to those 2 schools for an in-state kid from the Wiregrass, like, to me, no, it hasn't changed in my opinion. But for you guys, maybe the can't misses are different.
Those are the
I'll
2.
probably throw Fegans in there.
Yep, I was thinking him.
For sure.
I'm thinking Antonio Coleman.
Must have.
You had him, and you lost him. You can't, and now you still got a lot of time to try to change the course on that again. To me,
he's pretty too now.
That's almost a must-have. Like, you can't let that one get away. Almost.
What's
I can
his
understand
current?
if you did, because he was first committed to Alabama and you flipped him, whatever. I think once you've gotten, like, you see that it's possible to flip that guy, it's like you're seeing red. You're seeing blood now. Blood in the water.
I can smell it like Destin, Florida. I actually don't want to make light of that, man, because people were hurt.
Yeah.
They were. So I'm not.
Yeah.
So it's probably poor taste. But y'all know it was coming from a good place.
And hey, look, man, we were trying to be humorous.
Sometimes we swing and miss. So.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
All right, here we go. Hey, I've got 11 freaking how about yous.
Okay.
So I need y'all to get us started.
I think I have 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get us started. Our buddy War Eagle Insider, give him 1. got to meet him. I've met him before, but we met him again, Jeffrey, and
Yeah.
I think he and Edward talked it out, and they're all good because Edward said something about him on the call. We're all good there. So, how about the War Eagle Insider? Kyle Hatcher. I always
Any spaces in there?
Yeah, just Kyle space Hatcher, like their name. I always appreciate the guys that just roll with their name.
Hell yeah.
Looking at you, B Bruce 1996 at gmail.com.
Ben 1177.
And then my third one is Justin 3636. There you go.
3636. I got you. How about you, fellas?
I only got 2 this week.
Good.
Jedi 88 made a hell of a post about Hugh Freeze recruiting percentages. I don't know if you
Damn right.
Ooh.
At times 2, big dog.
Yeah.
Times 3.
And I'm going to give BBP one because he actually tagged us in that thread and drug me and brought me to it. So
yeah, he sure did.
BBP, you get one from me as well. Those are my only 2 this week. We've had a really good week on the corner, but Jeffrey telling me he's got 11. My guess is I'm gonna have some time to
actually. It's 12. I forgot one.
Ooh,
my first one was how about you to YEE? Met him today at the UPS store. How about you go? Hell yeah. And I was at Chuck's Marina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right after Broderick Sherrill committed, I was out in the middle of the damn lake. Yeah. And I had a listener come up to me there. So how about you, big dog, whoever you are? Anyways, how about you to Pearl of Wisdom 07?
That's a good one.
Yeah. How about you to JV Kennedy? How about you to, you talk about Jedi 88? How about you to AU McBK?
I like that one.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he had the camp, the passing camp. We were so busy. I was like, here are the schools. Dude went, here are the recruits for each school. And I use that, AU McB. Okay. I use that.
It for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then had some others join in. But man, he's just what he brings to the table. We appreciate the hell out of him.
He's awesome.
How about you, Tyler Justice? Cole's big dog. How about you to Danny Pitts? How about you to BM Hart, big dog?
Make Pitts times 2 for me, please.
Yeah, those are 3 good ones right there.
Yeah. How about you, Spanish Tiger? How about you to Elator?
Yes. Underrated poster.
Absolutely. And he guarded my backpack while I was at camp the other day. How about you, big dog Elator? How about you to Jink03 for the fantastic review he gave on Miss Jessica Alba. Andress, I'm just kidding. Jessica Andress, the 5-star realtor. He gave a glowing review. Let me make sure I've got everybody here. How about you to that was Elator, Spanish Tiger, BM Hart, Danny Auburn. So here are the 2 I really wanted to throw some how about yous at. Hogbone. How about you, Hogbone? He said his wife's got cancer and wanted you to know we thinking about you, Hogbone, praying for her, big dog. And then Rick P lost his brother last week to cancer. So we wanted big how about you, both of those guys, let you know we're thinking about you. And we'll continue man.
I had one more.
Okay.
Another guy we met and I talked to for a good while. Weeks.
I forgot about him.
I know. It hit me. I was like, man, I talked to Weeks for about an hour the other day.
I think that was the day. Was that the Friday?
Yes.
Yeah, you had already talked to him, and I came in, and I think I was leaving to go. Oh, heck, I was going to the lake because that's where I was going. That's where I was when O'Shaw committed.
Yep.
Alan Head coming here. He's throwing J-Head style comments over
here. He did. He snuck that one in on that one.
Oh, boy.
Oh, so how about you, Pearls of Wisdom? How about you, Hogbone, Rick P, JV Kennedy, Auburn, AU McB, K, Tyler Justice, Danny Pitts, BM Hart, Spanish Tiger, Elator, Jink03, War Eagle Insider, Kyle Space Hatcher, Justin 3636, Yeet, YEE, Jedi 88, BBP, and how about you to Weeks? You know what? How about you to freaking Wanda from Wilmer?
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
forgot. Okay, got to give her one for sure.
Wanda from Wilmer, big
Wanda
dog.
was awesome, man. You know,
Wasn't she?
I think I saw somebody else over there and like, man, another subscriber, and they're like, man, y'all got to have Wanda on more. Wanda was awesome.
We have to
Yes,
send
she was.
Kevin to Illinois build churches. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Yep.
look, use that skill set, big dog.
That might be the most how about yous. And we just the message board has been crazy in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, but mostly good.
Yeah,
Mostly fantastic.
And you know, the legend of Kevin from Wilmer, it was here and it just went up there.
Gross.
I was going to
Wanda.
say.
It just keeps getting better.
Yeah. His ranking is skyrocketing.
No
Like,
doubt.
like Gus after a win, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Hey, one more time, big dogs, for On to Victory, man. We want everybody to be aware of the deal that they're putting together for you guys to be a part. So if you want to make a real difference for Auburn, for the student athletes, join On to Victory Collective for as little as $17 a month, folks. You can get you can support, number one, you can support Auburn athletics. You can enjoy awesome perks like monthly giveaways, VIP events, behind the scenes content, which is phenomenal, and also cash back on your favorite brands. Plus, you'll get exclusive savings on to Victory gear. So head on over to ontovictory.co. Ontovictory.co. It's in the description down here. Join today. Get these amazing benefits and support this the student athletes. Fantastic way to spend $17 a month. Second best to Auburn Live on 3 for $1 2 months. Go get signed up. Auburn Live on 3 AU1. Use that promo code. Get 2 months for $1. Also, while I've got everybody listening, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Please.
Poor favor, man. Poor favor. Sign up to that YouTube channel because we really want to go to, where are we going?
Twin Peaks.
That's what I said.
Live show Twin Peaks. We get to 10,000. Live show Twin Peaks. I am flying in from North Carolina, Alabama to be there
Yes.
with you guys.
And I think Don said drinks were on him.
I think that's what he said too. Or at least Don, we're going to need you to call in next week, buddy, to confirm on that.
Don
Okay.
has a post on the board right now as we speak, trying to make it a big thing.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
looky here. Folks, we're going to be after for the next, Auburn's dead period really starts after Sunday. They might have an unofficial visitor to not Caleb Edwards. Keody Armstrong might come in next week for an unofficial visit. But other than that, Auburn's going to shut it down after the official visitors this weekend. So, then it's going to turn to Big Cat. It's going to be who's going to commit between now and then. There's some decisions coming up. July the 4th is who's committing July the 4th?
Jacoby Ward.
Jacoby Ward.
Jacoby Ward's the July the 4th. Okay.
Yep.
So lots going on, man. For the rest of the summer, you'll get locked in at Auburn Live on 3. We will do our best to bring you all the breaking news and analysis.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Be careful. Be careful with that one.
Oh, yeah. All right, folks. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching, man. For Alan Head, for Cole Pinkston, for Zach in the back, who stayed in the back. I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay that left lane. Christian Clemente. See you.